And then I actually do remember, Bethany, what was it that we were supposed to talk about, like first thing today to finish up the goals list? Do you remember what that was?
It was like self-accusation, but it went with one of them that we talked about. Like it went with number 8, I think.
And was that the known of the unknown? Or no, that's 9.
No, that was like the unlock your potential. Just like being aware like of self-accusation. I cannot say that word. But like knowing that we all have potential to be like great, and we all have potential to reach like the goals that we set. He just put a word to it.
I love that. Okay. So, and then that can also, in a sense, build confidence, right? Like, as we tell ourselves, hey, I know I'm capable of doing this, and then I become capable of doing it, and that builds confidence as well, right? Like, all of that probably kind of ties in right at that point. And then also just like, as we continue to do the unknown, we learn about ourselves, right? Like you learn, oh, I'm capable of doing that, or, oh, I need some work there. You know, you kind of can be able to figure out where you're at on the scale as well. And so you're going to figure out a lot about yourself when you kind of start doing these goals. Either you're going to surprise yourself or you're going to expose where you need some work, right? Like, let's talk about me and running right now. Like, holy hell, am I exposing where I need some freaking work in my brain when it has freedom to just flow. This is my problem with running. My brain is too free. So yesterday I ran the 2 miles, kind of, and dying the whole time. And I was just like beating myself up in my head because I was talking to Mike about it later on, and I was like, I'm trying to just run because physically I feel like I can do it, but mentally I get so antsy running. Like I get mentally antsy because I'm like, oh my God, I start thinking about stuff I have to do at home, or I start thinking about so-and-so that I was talking to earlier, or I start thinking about my music and how it changed, or I'm like trying to count my freaking footsteps because I'm like trying to get back on track, and I'm like 1, 2, 3, you know, so then I'm like thinking of that, and then my brain, I'm like, holy crap, Jen, you got to get a hold of your brain when you are running. So it's exposing a part of me that I'm like, oh, I would have never realized that my brain has an issue when it has freedom. Like my brain, when it is allowed to run, it will run. Like I felt like the faster my feet were going, the faster my brain was going, which was stressful for me because I'm so used to doing workouts where it's like, and Tennille had kind of said it, and I was like, yes. So on my live video in the 5K group, she had commented on it, and she was just like, you know, as like you're running and your brain is running, but when you're used to doing workouts, there's always somebody kind of talking, or you're always like, okay, like push-ups are next, 30 seconds of push-ups are next, I know this, or hey, get your weights, grab your weights, da-da-da. It breaks it up. And I even look at that at the sports that I've done in my life. Like I never did basketball because I hated running back and forth. I never did soccer. I never did track or cross country. I did volleyball because it was short spurts of energy. It was more agility. It was more even cheerleading or gymnastics. Gymnastics, you run, you do your flip, and then you get back in line. Like, you know what I mean? Or it's like a small routine and then you're out. And so it's interesting to me to be like, this is why I have never really been able to do longer distance running or anything like that. It's my brain. It's not physically. Physically, I'm totally capable of doing it, right? Like I'm in great shape. I should be able to run. It's my brain that's bothering me because I start thinking about the stuff I need to do at home. So then I'm like, hurry up, run faster so you can get this over with. Like a part of my head is like, can you just run faster? Because you got to get back home to like check on da 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 da. And I'm like, wait, that's not the point of this. So I have this like constant battle in my head of like, and then I get frustrated because I'm arguing with myself. It was like literally this big circle. It was like, shut up. Like I just wanted to scream at myself. But then it was like, I'm trying to figure it out too, you know? I'm in the thick of it. All right. So that's kind of where I feel like we've been just like probably like the last week and a half, even here, we're in the thick of it, you guys. Like we're in that part where it could be easily say, God, I just don't want to do that anymore. Like I'm just, it's stressing me out. You know, like running is stressing me out. Yeah, it is a little bit. Sometimes warrior hour can maybe stress you out because it gets you thinking, and then later on you're like, oh, I'm still thinking about that stupid thing again. And it can be like really frustrating, but I just want you to remind yourself, you're just in the thick of it. You're in the thick part of it, okay? And it's gonna be the hardest. But like, I know that if I keep running, eventually 2 miles isn't gonna be that big of a deal, right? 5 miles may be a big deal, but I'll get past this 2 mile hump. I know that the only way I'm ever going to be able to run 2 miles is if I continue running 2 miles, right? Like that makes sense, right? Everybody understands that part. Like I'm never going to just be able to run 2 miles if I'm never running 2 miles, right? So same goes here. Same goes here. You're never going to have control of your brain if you don't continue coming here or if you don't continue working it, right? And there can be times that you want to give up. There can be times that you're like, oh, I'm just like done doing this freaking work. It's making me crazy. I feel legit crazy sometimes because I'm trying to fix everything all the time, or I'm trying to like do all these changes, and you just start to get into like that turmoil or self-sabotage, kind of where I was yesterday with running. But I sat down with Mike and he said, you just got to keep running. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, the only way you're going to get through it is if you just keep running. And I'm like, oh, I was afraid you were going to say that. Like, because yeah, I know, you know, like in my heart, I know, but it's just hard to like hear it sometimes too. But that's the thing, you guys, like the weight's never going to come off unless you keep working at it, right? Like we know that it's never just going to disappear on its own. You got to keep working at it. My brain is never just going to flip a switch and just be able to run for 13 miles tomorrow. I have to keep working at it, right? And the moment I even stop, boom, I'm going backwards, okay? And so that's why it's so important for us to just continue to grow, Like, you guys ever heard that quote from like Talladega Nights? If you ain't first, you're last. Like, if you're not going forward, you're going backwards, okay? Like, and there is no other alternative. If you are not going forward, you are going backwards. Okay. And like, we have to be moving forward all the time, regardless of how hard it is, regardless of how frustrating it is. Forward is the only option. Okay. So I can't sit, and I can use my running as an example, but I'm not allowed to beat myself up about it. Right. Like I'm not allowed to get off this call or 2 days from now still be griping about some run that happened. Okay. I need to get over it. Move on. Bye-bye. Next run, right? Try again and try again and try again and try again and try again, right? Until that 2 miles is easy, until I can get there. And then, you guys, here's the tricky part that we all know. I have to continue running 2 miles, right? I can't just like get to a point where 2 miles feels easy and then stop running and thinking 2 months from then I'm going to be able to just run 2 miles. It doesn't work that way. I have to continue running 2 miles all the time for 2 miles to consistently stay easy. It's frustrating. But the moment we just flip our brains to just like go mode rather than go and come off and then go and then come off, go and then come off, You guys, that starting and stopping is not getting us anywhere. We just have to be on go. Finish, go. Finish, go. And like when I say finish, I mean like finish a program and get right into your next one. Don't finish a program and then like kind of hang out for 2 or 3 weeks doing a little bit here and there. Like I usually, the most I will take in between programs is like a week. That's because I know if I take any more than a week, I'll fall off. And even during that week, I'm still doing stuff. It's not like I'm not doing anything. I just maybe like dabble in a few workouts, but then it's like, okay, I'm starting this program. Like I have to be in a program because I've come to realize for myself, I'm more on point when I'm in a program. I am a better person when I'm in a program, not just like working out, not just like, oh, I'll press play on day 50 of Morning Meltdown 100, sure, whatever. Like, I mean, in a program, working through a schedule, that is when I am best. I just noticed that if I'm ever kind of just like frolicking, that's exactly how my life is. Like, I'm just like everywhere, you know, I'm over here, I'm forgetful over here, and just like, but when I'm in a program and I'm like hitting the schedule, I'm doing the days, I'm doing it, then everything else kind of lines up around it as well. And it continuously moves you forward. Okay, we've got to continue. And I just think that's the only way that we're going to make progress, right? Like that makes sense when you kind of word it like that. It's like, duh, that would be the only way that we would make progress is continuing, pushing forward, continue working through programs, expanding ourselves in other areas. That may be a little hard. Running is a little hard for me. It's weird not being one of the ones in the group that are like, boom, got it done. And I'm like one of the ones going, God damn it, this sucks. It's me that time. And I hate being this person of the group. Like, it's so weird. But you know what? I got to go through it. Like, I've got to get through this. And like, also, I know you guys are watching. You guys are like, whoa, she's like really going to go through this. Like, she's struggling. I see her over there. She's struggling, but she doesn't give enough yet. Like, that's motivation. You're welcome. Not giving up, you guys. Sometimes as coach, you don't have to, like, just because like I'm the lead coach doesn't mean I always have to be perfect, right? Doesn't mean I have to have all the answers. Doesn't mean I have to like be everything for everybody. I just have to continue showing up and saying like, you know what? I'm not really quite the runner, but I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep running for you guys. And maybe that will keep you guys running, you know? Little things like that, you guys. And you can think of that for your team too. So if you have like a couple of challengers or maybe like a friend or your family, like imagine what kind of motivation you're providing for your family, them watching you work through whatever it is you're working through. Okay? They are watching too, right? Like they're totally watching you run. They're totally watching you do the workouts. Your husband is, whether he says he is or not. He's paying attention. Okay? He sees you. He sees you doing the freaking work. Yeah, it's Emil. Let's hear it.
So yesterday, you know, I ran yesterday and stuff, but last night I've been working out in the evenings with Dwayne, my husband, and this is his first program. Well, he did lift 4 before, but half did it. But I did not want to work out last night. I was yelling and complaining the entire workout. And last week he was like mad and angry and frowning in each picture. But this week he's like been smiling and like using heavier weights. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on with him? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, is he enjoying himself? And then last night he yells at me and tells me to suck it up. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, really? Like, you've been working out. This is your second week and you're going to yell at me to suck it up. I'm like, okay, I kind of like it, but I kind of don't. But it was crazy how like he's in week 2 and he's like looking at me and telling me to suck it up. I'm like, oh boy, okay.
Dude, just wait until they get to the work. Mike became a totally different person in that 10 weeks. The 4 weeks of the prep and then 6 weeks of the work, Mike literally became an entirely new person. Like, and it happened, right? Week 2, week 3, like all of a sudden he like, I would like look in the living room and I'm like, do you have our weights set up? I'm like, who are you? I was like, oh, you're like ready, you know? Or he would like come to me with the Energize. He'd be like, here, take this. We're going to work out. And I'm like, okay. You know, I'm like, who are you? It's so weird, but it is cool. And it's cool to watch them grow, right? Like, I know that like Mike's not here, so I can say that. Like, it's so cool to watch Mike grow. Like, as silly as it is, like, it is awesome to be like, wow, you're getting into it. You're actually seeing results. And those results are driving you to continue going because I know you feel better. I know you look better. I see you looking in the mirror just a little bit longer than you ever were, you know? Or I see like Mike was always really weird about he would always wear like sun shirts at the beach and he would like never take his shirt off, which kind of was like, is that because of like an insecurity or is he protecting his skin that much? But it was insecurity. We actually figured it out. We talked about it and it was insecurity. And then we went to Key West on Saturday, had a shirt off the whole time. You know, just little things like that I just like noticed that I was like, yay, it's working. But you guys, he had to go through the thick of it for sure. Like there was actually one time we got into an argument during a workout and like the workout was over. Like I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. I was like, I'm out. I like threw my weights down. I was like, I am not standing beside you. I was like, I am done. I was like, you can work out by yourself. I was like, I'll work out later. Like we got into an argument. I don't even remember what it was. Like it was probably something stupid of like one of us rushing or hitting or not having a space. It was probably something stupid, but we just like blew up about it. And, but it's funny because we still finished the program together. Like we still came back that next day and like worked out together. And like, there's some days that are going to be so freaking hard, right? Like there are going to be some days that you're like, F this, I am done. Right. But then you're going to come back that next day and you're going to go, but I might as well press play today. Because if not, right, if we're not growing, we're going backwards. So my thought is like, I got to press play. Like to me, I got to run tomorrow. Like there is no other option because I know that my last run wasn't the best. And in my head at this point, I'm like, yo girl, like you got to set that straight. You need to clean that up. You know, I'm like my own pep talker. I didn't always really be that, but as I do development and I realize nobody else is going to do it for you. Like you guys can motivate me. You guys can comment on my live video all you want, but in reality, none of those comments are going to get my butt up and run tomorrow. Right? Like, let's be honest. Like nobody is going to make me get up and run tomorrow other than myself. Regardless of how many of you guys are there, regardless of how many comments or cheers that I get, right? Like, you can do it, Jen. Like, you guys can say that all you want. But regardless, I still have to decide to get up and put my feet on that pavement. And same for you guys. It has to come from you. You can be scrolling in the challenge group all you want, but you have to decide to get up and press play and do that workout. And do it to your best ability, right? Like not just like half-assing the workout, but like going all into your workout can be a lot different. But I had to decide that. You have to decide that. We have to decide growth and being in the thick of the crap over comfort and safety and whatever else is over here, right? We just don't need that, okay? It's comfortable, it feels good for a little bit, right? But how long does comfort really feel good, right? Because then we start to feel lethargic and lazy, and we're sleeping in, and then we're behind, and then we're not paying our bills right because we're not making the money we were supposed to because we're late to work. And then, you guys, that's not comfortable. Like, when people say they want to live comfortable, it's never comfortable, right? They're miserable typically because they're not growing. They're not growing. You have to be growing. You have to choose to come over here and expand yourself and challenge yourself and push yourself, because that's how you build confidence. And when you're confident in yourself, you feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, you keep pushing yourself, right? It can be just as much a cycle over here as it can be a cycle over here. So you feel bad about yourself, so you eat terrible, and then you eat terrible, so then you're like, well, I might as well not even work out because I already ate bad, and then it's like this vicious cycle. I might as well just sit and watch TV. Well, I already started drinking, so I might as well just keep drinking for the rest of the night. Then you guys see that vicious cycle over here. It's that same cycle over here. It's just, which one are you feeding? Right? You can get stuck in both cycles if you want. You just got to choose. And it's a total choice. And at any moment, boom, you can choose the other one, right? So you could be in that cycle of self-destruction and at any moment say, dude, I'm over this. I'm over being over here. And I'm coming over here. And I'm going to push play on my workout, or I'm going to make a healthy dinner, or I'm going to love on my kids like they've never been loved before today, or I'm going to spend all evening no phones with just my husband, right? Like, that's pumping the growth factor, okay? At any moment, you can choose to be over there. You got to probably let your ego down, right? Pride probably has to be pushed to the side a little bit to travel over to the growth side. That's probably the hardest part, honestly, you guys, is like just either like admitting you may have messed up, or admitting like, okay, I'm admitting that I've just been a total B over here, and I'm sorry to my family, so I'm just going to try really hard to just not do that anymore. You know, maybe you need to like approach your family like, hey, I recognize I've just been so depressed. I don't know what's going on with me. I've just been super depressed, and I'm not 100% sure, but I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to work really hard to kind of come out of it. You know, you have to be open and honest. I think that's kind of the initial thought, is like, you have to recognize what the issue is. For me, I'm recognizing the issue is running and it's mental. Okay, now I'm in the thick of it. Now I'm like, okay, I've narrowed down what my issue is with running. Now, how can I work through that? What can I start doing to entertain my brain while I'm running? What kind of music do I need? I'm still trying to figure out what's the right music for my brain. I'm in the thick of it, right? I'm figuring it out. And at any moment I could say, I'm done with this. Like, I don't even want to figure it out. I'm over it. I'm out. I can go back to comfort land and go back to 21 Day Fix. But that's not going to grow me, right? That's not going to expand me. That's not going to challenge me. So I got to figure it out. I got to stay in it. And it's going to feel icky while you're in it. That's the hardest part, you guys, is because it feels icky. It feels like I'm never going to be able to run 2 miles. In my head, a little bit, right? A little bit in my head, I'm like, am I ever going to be able to do this? But I have to keep telling myself, well, the only way you're ever going to be able to do it is by continue doing it. You'll find out. Only one way to find out if you can ever do it is by continue doing it, right? And there'll be a day eventually, right? Like, I'm going to be able to run 2 miles. Like, it's only a matter of time before I figure it out. Same for you guys. It's only a matter of time before you figure it out. But if you quit now, you're never going to figure it out. You're never going to lose the weight. You're never going to have that relationship. You're never going to have that life, right? If you quit now, you go back to comfort land, which in comfort land, you were dying to be where you're at now. You were hoping and wishing to be where you're at now, right? Like, there was a point in your life you would say, oh, God, if I could just lose that 5 pounds, you know? And now that you lost it, and you're like, okay, now I'm here, what's next? Don't go back. Keep going forward, okay? Because comfort land is never going to be the same. It's never going to feel the same as it did when you were in it the first time, right? Like, have you guys ever like visited a place and it was just like so magical, or so whatever the time was, or the people you were with, and it was just so perfect, and you tried to go back and like recreate the moment, and it was never the same. Like, it could never be the same as it was with these people in this time, in this moment. It just will never be the same, right? Like, that's literally life in a nutshell, right? You will never go back, and it will never be the same, okay? Once you've expanded, you cannot go back. I mean, you can, but you're going to be twice as miserable, okay? You thought you were miserable the first time in comfort land? Woo, buddy, wait till you go back for a second time. It's even worse, right? So you've got to move forward. And like, I'm not saying that to like scare you guys. I'm saying that to be like, don't even try. Just don't even go back, okay? Just be like, at any rate, I'm always going to be moving forward, because I am so scared of going back to comfort. If I have to scare you from comfort, I will, because it is no fun living over in comfort land, you guys. It feels fine maybe for like a day, and then you get bored, and then you're watching reruns, and then you're like on the couch for longer than you were on your feet, and then, you know what I mean? Like, it's not good for you. Don't go there, okay? Even if what you're doing right now is hard, okay? Even if it's hard, because I know it's hard, because what I'm doing is hard, and I know what all you guys are doing is what I'm doing. So I know it's going to be hard. I know there's going to be times that we want to quit. I know there's going to be times that are just like, can I just go back to 21-day fix? This one program is just freaking hard. No, you can't. You have to finish it. You have to keep pushing through that. You're just in the thick of it. But you're capable, right? Like, I'm capable of getting my ass out the door tomorrow and running 2 miles. Maybe you have to walk some. That's okay. But I'm capable of it. And I'm going to do it. And I'm going to keep showing you guys I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep showing up. Even if just my little showing up proves to you guys to keep showing up. It's worth it. Because you guys hold me accountable, just so you guys know. Awesome. So I did have a video for today. It was something a little bit different. I'm going to move over to it. But I got to find it because I had it on my phone. I just remembered my son took my phone. So let me see if I can find it real quick. It was someone a little bit, oh my gosh, why can't I type YouTube today? But it's somebody that we haven't listened to, but he's very popular, Tony Robbins. He was one of like the first kind of personal development people I had really attached to in the beginning, along with Darren. So it was Darren Hardy and Tony Robbins. I don't know if you guys have seen I'm Not Your Guru on Netflix. Totally worth the watch. I cry every time I watch it, like through the whole thing. I'm like a blubbering somewhat mess. But it's just really good. So if you haven't seen it, it's I'm Not Your Guru with Tony Robbins on Netflix. Definitely check it out. But Tony Robbins is like the original motivator. So if you guys have ever seen Shallow Hal, have you guys ever seen that movie where like the guy sees women for who they are rather than like what they really look like? And but there's a part where the guy who holds his head and gives him those powers, that's Tony Robbins. So he's the one that like gets stuck in the elevator with him, and he's like kind of gives him like this magical power, basically. That's Tony Robbins. And like originally that was kind of the joke about him, was that he could change people's minds. Like he was like some superpower hero guy, like this massive guy who's like super tall, like these big old features and stuff. And like everybody kind of thought that he was like a guru or like a shaman or like some magical guy. But in reality, he just unleashed people's souls. He just like got to them in a core way that just allowed them to be who they were supposed to be. And so I love Tony Robbins. I think that if you don't know much about Tony Robbins, he's definitely worth looking into. He's got a couple books, movies, or documentaries, all kinds of stuff. And like gobs and gobs of videos on YouTube. I mean, sometimes I can't even find. Okay, I think this is the one I wanted though. Sweet. Nope, not that one. Okay. I'm gonna screen share with you guys.
It's got nice grips on the side. It's shock.
Are everything. I mean, you got a ton.
Okay, so I'm gonna take some notes, and we might kind of have to do what we did last time. Like we'll watch the video, but then maybe we'll just talk about it tomorrow. Because I think that it's gonna run us right up to like 8 o'clock. So we'll talk about it for just like a second afterwards, but then we'll let it carry us into tomorrow's content. All right, let's see what we can find from Mr. Tony Robbins.
There's only maybe a half dozen, 7, 8 categories that really matter. Most people, you know, they major in minor things. They focus on stuff that doesn't matter. They know more about this celebrity going in and out of rehab than they do about their own personal development. But I look at and say, if you look at your body, without that, everything else is out the door. You don't want to be richest man in the graveyard. That's not going to do it. If there's energy, if there's vitality, if there's strength, it's going to show up in your relationship. It's going to show up in your business, show up in your life. That's an area you got to master. You can't dabble. It's too important. Emotions are everything. I mean, you got a ton of money, you got everybody loves you, and your primary emotions are pissed off and frustrated, then your life's pissed off and frustrated. It doesn't matter if you got $1 billion or 1 million people loving you, your life is not great. Relationships, intimate relationships especially. It's where the most juice in life comes from. It's where the most pain comes from most people. It's worth mastering instead of dabbling. You know, really looking at what are you going to do with your time? And mastering your time. Instead of having a checklist, you cross it all off. You can mistake movement for achievement. I want to squeeze out of that time what matters, that creates value for me and for everyone I care about and love. What about your career or your business and the mastery of that instead of dabbling? Most businesses are dabblers. That's why they don't make it. 96%, you know, in any 10-year period of time, 4% make it. That doesn't even mean they're profitable. And it does not mean they're enjoying themselves, right? Or they're getting anybody else to feel good. Really mastering money so that it's not a question in your life. You can do and be and give and share as much as you want. You're not stressed about it. You live in a place of abundance. And then spiritually, really, I think, I don't tell people what to believe spiritually, but I believe that ultimately, whatever you believe, you got to live it, and it should lead to growing and giving. If you're growing, you feel alive. If you're giving, you feel 10 times more alive. And I think if someone can celebrate and give, then that's spiritual state. So to me, those are the areas I look at mastering. You know, business for sure, but it's the areas of life that matter most. And most of where we spend our time doesn't make people feel fulfilled. That's why the average person is not fit and healthy. The average person is not in a relationship where they have tremendous passion. You know, I'm not a dummy. I'm not a positive thinker. I know the truth. The average person is not successful in business. The average person is not earning what they want to earn. But you know what? Very few people have those things, but a few do. A few are happy, fulfilled, spiritually alive, financially strong, their business is growing, they have passionate love affairs, and I'm obsessed with finding the few who do and find out what they do different and teaching to everybody. Everyone's going to measure themselves differently because everyone values things differently. Some people value success or significance. Some people value love more. Some value just basic levels of certainty. So when I look at the specific metrics, I really look at metrics of what are the things that need to be measured to know if your life is going to work or not. So I look at it as our whole lives are guided moment to moment by the state we're in. Learning how to change your state, not bullshit, not fake, but to go from pissed off, frustrated, freaked out to back in your center or creative or determined or something that's going to move you forward. It's going to create a better quality of life for you and others. That's a critical skill set. So moment to moment, our life's controlled by our states. Yep. You know, if you're in an angry state, you're going to respond differently than if you're feeling playful. But what controls those states long term is is your model of the world, your worldview. And I look at that as having, as a metric, 3 things that I look at. I look to see first, what are the targets you're after? The target is, everyone has different goals and dreams and desires. But as I traveled around the world to 100 countries, I started going, holy shit, I'm seeing the same problems. What's underneath it? I began to see that there are these same 6 human needs that we all have, the same needs. We all have a need for certainty, that we can avoid pain and we can have some pleasure, some comfort. We all need uncertainty. We need variety, or we feel dead inside. If you're totally certain, you're bored. If you have total variety, you're like freak out. And it's not a balance. It's learning which of these you need more as a person. Everyone's developed a different set of values in that area. The need for significance, to feel unique, special, important, the need to feel loved, the need to grow, and the need to contribute. Some people value certainty at the top of their list. That's their center of their target. I don't want to do anything unless I know it's going to work. I don't want to do anything unless it's the same. If you change anything, they freak out. If certainty is the number one thing on your list, everyone has the same needs, but if it's number one, I know how your life's going to be. I can predict the direction of your life and therefore the destination to some extent. If you're driven by love first, you want certainty too, but love is higher, you're going to behave very differently than if you're driven by significance. I have to be the one. So I look to see which of those needs are the top 2 on your list because they control your life. Yep. The 2 that most people have, 90% of the planet, if you said, of all these needs, which one do you really focus on most day to day? Everybody wants love, but what do you focus on? Most people focus on being significant. We live in a Facebook world where people fake their life, put new filters, make it look different than it really is, tell stories that, are totally full of it to make themselves look good. Because we live in this kind of false world where significance is more important than love. And it separates us. And the other one that we see most often is certainty. People want to be certain before they can do something. You couldn't have started a business like you had if you were absolutely certain before you started. You can never build a business with that. You can never build a great relationship because if it's based on certainty, then everybody's got to stay the same and never change, which means you're never going to grow, which means you're going to be miserable. Right. So my metrics are, I want to find out what's driving you. And I want to see, is it healthy or unhealthy? You can have 2 people be driven by significance, though, and do it with a different set of rules. That's the second piece I measure, the beliefs or rules of how to fulfill that target. But I want to be more clear about something. An extraordinary life is life on your terms, and there's 2 parts. Part 1 to have an extraordinary life is mastering the skill of the science of achievement. How do I take what I envision and make it real? And how do I do that quicker, faster, better, easier? The ability to manifest what you come up with and make it real, like you've done with your company, yes, that's a skill set. I spend an unbelievable amount of time helping people do it faster, quicker, better, showing the shortcuts, teaching them the strategies, modeling what works so you can save yourself a decade. But I would submit to you that having done this for 38 years with, 50 million people at this stage, I can tell you that the science of achievement, there are a lot of people that are damn good at that, and they still don't have an extraordinary life. They have an extraordinary life. You see it as extraordinary, but I get the phone call from the multi-billionaire who tells me he wants to do this thing on his business, but what he really find out is he's miserable as hell, and he's hoping somehow I'm going to rub off on him on that side too. Right. And so I give him what he asked for, the change in his business, but I also give him what he needs, which is the change inside of him. So the second skill is the art of fulfillment. If you want an extraordinary life, you can't just achieve, you got to be fulfilled. As simplistic as that sounds, but it's an art. It's not a science. Sure. It's a science to making money, come on. Any age, any color, any background, any gender, if you do these things, you'll have an abundance of money. You do these things, you're going to have too much month at the end of the money. You're going to have financial stress, right? Body. Everyone's biochemically different, but you and I both know there's fundamental rules, laws. There's a science to the body. You violate that science, you're going to have disease. You're going to have low energy. You align with that, you're going to have an abundance of energy. It's going to affect everything in your life. It's a science. Fulfillment's not like that. Fulfillment is as different as our human beings. You want to know what God or the universe likes? Look at the jungle, look at the forest. Right. It's diverse, right? So most people think, well, I want to get that because they've been modeling somebody else, and that might work on how to achieve something. It'll never work for what to fulfill you. How many people do you know, like you, got what you thought you wanted and you weren't fulfilled? Right. And that, I always tell people, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. The ultimate failure. Because if you go at something and you fail and you're an achiever, you don't fail. You go, I learned something, I'll just try something else. Right. I'm going to still get there. But when you succeed and you're not happy. So a perfect example of this, I mentioned in the seminar you were there because it hit me about a year and a month ago, we lost what I consider a national treasure, Robin Williams. And I asked people, how many love Robin Williams? Everybody raised their hand all around the world, right? He made people laugh. People were touched by him. So how good was he at the science of achievement? I mean, he wanted to be a great comedian, make the whole world laugh. He did. He wanted to have his own TV show. He did. He wanted the #1 show. He did it. He wanted to make movies. He did. He wanted to have an Academy Award for not being funny, dramatic, and he did it. Right?
He did it. Yeah.
He said he wanted a beautiful family. He achieved everything, and he hung himself.
That's crazy.
And I know recently someone saying, well, you know, he had dementia. He had drug abuse. He had alcohol abuse through most of his life because he made everybody happy but whom?
Himself.
That's the ultimate failure. So if I had no other message to offer your viewers, and you let me give it to them right now, I'll tell you what I believe. I believe our lives are controlled by one force, decisions. I certainly believe in a force greater than myself. Call it God, if you will, grace, whatever you want to call it, the universe. But I also believe it gives us choices. And the decisions we make control us much more than the conditions we meet. It's not the conditions, it's your decisions. Decisions what to believe, decisions what to do, decisions what to give. I say to people, think about, you know, look back 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 15 years ago, and think of a decision you made. That if you would have made a different decision, you'd have a totally different life today. Better or worse, I don't know, but totally different. The most important decision you can make above any on the face of the earth is deciding that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens, you're going to live in a beautiful state. The decision to say, I am not going to suffer, that if suffering arises, pain's one thing, suffering's another. Suffering is when you're like, suffering could be worry, it could be anger, it could be frustration. It's anything that takes you out of a beautiful state. And here's what people don't get. You can end suffering by stop focusing on yourself and focus on something you want to serve greater than yourself. Your children, your wife, your mission, your life. You can get out of it in an instant because the nature of the human mind is to constantly compare things. Your mind, your brain is a 2 million year old device, and it is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you, it's designed to make you survive.
Right.
And that's why it's always looking for what's wrong. But it used to be what's wrong is saber-toothed tiger, so I can protect myself. Now people are worried about what people think about them, or do they have enough money when 2/3 of the planet lives on $2 a day, and you're making $38,000, you're rich. The poorest of the poor in our country are considered rich. That's not, I'm not saying they should stay that way.
Right.
But you can only build on success. My goal would have you consider something. Life is short. We don't know how short it's going to be. But if you only had a week to live, I bet you wouldn't allow yourself to suffer over little crap that makes you crazy normally. I think you would probably spend time with those you love. You would do what you love. You'd take on a sunset. You'd smell the air. You would take in everything in those
So
final
true.
moments that you possibly do. So my thing is, why wait?
Right.
Right? Why wait? Why not just decide that if I start to suffer, I know the solution, because suffering is me obsessing about me. You might say, it's not me. I'm worried about my kids because they're not doing well. No, you're worried that you haven't done enough for your kids. It's about you still, right?
Yes.
You know, you're worried about what was done or what you should have done or what shouldn't have done. And you can end that in an instant by becoming aware of it and saying, I have made the most important decision of all.
Right.
I'm going to live in a beautiful state. Because here's what's going to happen. Anybody watching, you may lose a family member. You probably will. Somebody may get cancer. Your business the government might change the rules. They might change things radically. You can't even do anything about it. You might go bankrupt. You might get divorced. I'm not saying anybody will, but
No, sure.
no one knows what's going to really happen in your life. Life's full of uncertainty, but here's what you can know. You can decide no matter what happens, you're going to have a great time. If somebody like Viktor Frankl could be locked up in Auschwitz and come out of that and experience finding joy in the middle of Auschwitz, then human beings have a capacity they've undersold themselves on. We think that the outside world determines how we feel. If people have to behave a certain way, if your husband or your wife, or your kids, or your coworkers, or whoever, your boss, has to behave a certain way for you to be happy, and if they don't, you're unhappy, then you're always going to be unhappy, because the more people around you, the more they're going to change that, because they're all human, right? My invitation is, as great as it is to achieve, more important to enjoy.
Right.
And if you can enjoy every moment in that state, when you're feeling loving and playful and passionate and curious and awe, you treat other people 100 times better than when you're feeling frustrated, pissed off, overwhelmed, worried, stressed, or feeling sorry for yourself. You're going to be a better parent. You're going to be a better lover. You're going to be a better business person. You're going to have a better life. So my soliloquy is decide. Decide today and actually say, what if I cut it off? What if I said, I'm not willing to settle and I'm just going to live in a beautiful state? Doesn't mean you won't feel bad. It doesn't mean you won't stay there. You instantly change. But what the hell is success? It's hitting an expectation. And I always tell people, man, trade your expectations for appreciation. And it's a whole new world instantly. If you can appreciate this moment, if you can't find ecstasy in this moment, in a conversation with a friend and looking in your wife's eyes, being with your children, going on a run, if you can't find ecstasy now, I'm here to tell you, more money, more people, more love, more business, more anything is not going to give you more ecstasy. If you can't do it here now, you're not going to do it there when you got more. So why not do it now and have a rich life right now? I tell people, money, that's one thing. Like having financial abundance, there's skills. That's a science. But wealth, it's a decision. It's like you can be wealthy right now. I live in Fiji a good portion of the time. There are these villagers there. They're the richest people I know. They're happy. They laugh. They love. They don't give a damn about the economics. Other people say they're poor. When I first went there, I was trying to do things for them. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm so happy. Wealthy people come over from the United States and they go travel around and try to figure out what to do. And they're going to spend 9 years to do this and this and this so they can finally sit down and be happy. And the Fijian guy goes, why don't you sit on the beach right now, dude, and experience it? Why spend the 9 years? Why not have it now? That's my invitation.
Nice. Whew. Took me a second to get in the Tony Robbins. I talk 500 miles an hour speed at first. Like, it's been a while since I've listened to him, and you got to keep up with him. Like, because that man, you could tell his wheels are just like, and you got to like really listen to keep up with him. So at first I was like, oh shit, I am not in Tony mode yet.
You have to pay attention.
So, I know at the beginning of yes, you have to pay attention because he can drop a quote like that, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, what was that? What was that? Like, you just like want to write it down, and he's past it. He's gone. So what I can do is send you guys that video if you ever, or I can attach it. So what I've been doing, or what I like to do, is attach the videos I use from YouTube to the Warrior Hour section of my YouTube. So that way you can go in and see all the Warrior Hours, but I try to share the video over there too. So that way, if you just want to watch the video that we watched, I'll attach them there. So you could subscribe to our YouTube channel, basically, and then so it'll be on there. So you always have access to them. One, I actually really love that. He actually kind of brought me like a little emotional a couple times. I don't know about you guys, but I got a little emotional like twice, where I was like, okay, speaking to my soul, like, leave me alone. But like, it was good. It was really good. I honestly, like, my biggest, I would say like my two biggest things that I just want to talk about super quick. One was like, your suffering is in your head. Like, any suffering you're experiencing has nothing to do with the outside world. It has nothing to do with out there. Like, your suffering is a choice you're making in your head. It's a decision we're choosing to do. And it's like, the moment you want suffering to stop, get out of your head and start thinking about somebody else, or start giving to somebody else, or start pouring into somebody else. And that can help you. And so I was like, suffering is me versus me. Like, the only, like, and I'm not talking about like pain. Like, I'm even looking at Tessa right now. Like, Tessa, your pain has nothing to do with your suffering right now. Like, you are in physical pain. That's totally different than mental suffering, right? Like, so there's a difference, you guys, when we're just choosing to look at a situation as controlling me. Like, if I was choosing to let the run control me, I'm suffering because of my own brain. I'm not suffering because of the run. I'm not suffering because of outside, the road, the traffic. That's not what's making me suffer. I'm suffering because of the way I'm thinking about it, right? That's the suffering. The suffering is here in our brains. And I just needed that reminder, to be honest, from him. Like, I needed that for sure. I was like, yes, thank you. Remind me that it's just my freaking brain attacking my own brain. And I have the power to control that and flip it and switch it and be grateful. And I love the way that he explained it is stop having expectations and start having appreciation. Expectations, you guys, can ruin so many moments in our lives. When we expect certain things to go a certain way and they don't, and then we get upset because they didn't go a way that we expected it to go. But in a sense, maybe we could actually just appreciate the plot twist, the switch up, the pivot, you know, because actually if we just took ourselves out of like what we thought it was supposed to be and just took a look at what it ended up being, maybe there is something to appreciate there. Right? Like, I had expectations I was supposed to go to Punta Cana, right? Life and coronavirus had other thoughts for that, okay? But I'm going to appreciate that I've been given this time with my family and with you guys, right? Like, I could be mad because my expectations weren't met, you know, my vacation got canceled and I couldn't go anywhere and now I have to wear a mask to the grocery store. My expectations I could be mad at, because I had these expectations for what this time was supposed to be doing. Or I could say, you know what? I'm just going to be really appreciative that we're on Warrior Hour 34. I'm just going to be appreciative that I had more time to do the work with Mike and we finished that program because we were at home to finish it. I'm going to be appreciative of the relationships that have been built and that are stronger now because we only have a small little group of people to deal with. Or, you know, here in my community, like we just have like a small little group of people. We basically hang out with just them and they hang out with just us. So we can at least have a little bit of social interaction, but we're not trying to like hang out with everybody. I'm really appreciative that like that family has agreed to do that with us. So they can kind of get an outlet, we can kind of get an outlet, and we just have each other. I'm very appreciative of that, right? When my expectations were that I was supposed to be with hundreds of people on vacation, and instead, I'm just gonna be appreciative of the one family we get to stay with, right? Like, so expectations, turn it into appreciations. I loved when he said that. I was just like, yes, I need to remind myself of that too. I need to write that and put it somewhere, everywhere, probably, for me to like read it and see it and repeat it over and over and over again. I don't know if you guys are these type of people, but when I hear something that I really love, like I have to write it down and like post it somewhere. I am out of Post-its actually right now, but normally I have Post-its all over our house. Like I will have them like on our mirror in the bathroom, or like I'll write with my freaking eyeliner. I don't care. I'll write a freaking quote all the way across my mirror. And I know Mike sees it every time. And I don't care. I'm like, you're reading this too. Like, like I don't care. But so just find a place, maybe write down expectations or appreciation over expectations. Just write that down somewhere and post it somewhere that you see it, but you can repeat it in the morning or throughout the day as you're walking into the kitchen. You know, you have it on your fridge. So every time you read it, you're like, oh yeah, appreciation. Appreciation, not expectations, right? Or just something like that, or quotes in general. I really liked that video though. It was really good. I needed it. All right, ladies. Does anybody else have anything fun that they want to talk about with that one? Or we can also always talk about it tomorrow some too, but I see little faces. Mel, I see her. She's so cute. I love when little kids jump on. Maybe we'll do some more Tony Robbins. Did you guys kind of like him? Or maybe kind of let me know as we start listening to personal development people. Let me know who you guys kind of are your favorites. I know Rachel Hollis is always going to be one of our favorites. But as I kind of pull up like Mel Robbins or, you know, Tony, it's kind of funny they're both named Robbins. I always thought that was weird. I'm like, is that coincidence? Like, do you have that name and you just like happen to be like a super motivating person? Or like if you're really like, hey, I really like Les Brown, or hey, let's switch it up. I've got other people. I know plenty of other personal development people. I'm just going to start trickling in. So if you're like, hey, I really like that person, let me know, because we can start finding more and kind of delving into more of them. So I'm just kind of like playing all over until we start to grab on some people. I like Tony better than Dave too. I like Dave. I feel bad that I don't like him all the time though. I feel like he would be good if like we were sitting and having a conversation, but when he's sitting and trying to do a video, I could just tell his wheels are turning, and he's trying to make it be what he knows that he wants it to be, and it's
Tony just speaks to me more than Dave does. Tony just speaks to me more than Dave does. Like you said, Dave, you can kind of see him thinking ahead past what he's actually saying at that moment. Tony is like in what he's saying. Like you said, he drops a quote and keeps going. He's just that passionate, and it's like he's like a flood happening in front of you. But it's a good flood, if you will, not a destructive one, so to speak, but it's a good flood. And it's like all of it's just pouring out of him. So exactly.
Yeah. And you know, that probably comes with his experience too. You know, he's like he said, he's been doing this for 30 years, you know, running people. Like he does like all these conventions. I mean, to go to one of his conventions is like $5,000. I've looked into them. Like to go to one of his like week-long conventions and do his like training classes and stuff. I mean, it's like $5,000 to go to one of them. And people pay it like all the time. I mean, he sells out all the time, his mastery programs and stuff like that. And then, you know, Rachel and Dave, like they're kind of newer, you know? And so you can see where that difference can kind of come in of just somebody that's kind of learning to be motivating, because Rachel's been doing it, but Dave really just joined Rachel within the last year or two. So he is still, I think, probably trying to find his own spot, you know, find his own comfort in it all. So we're actually getting to see him grow, right? Like we're getting to see Dave grow like right before our eyes. Like 10, 20 years from now, we'll be like, remember when he used to do videos and we would laugh at him? You know? But because I know that he's only going to get better. You know, that's the thing is like with Dave, it's like he's only going to get better as he continues doing them. That's how what we all know. That's what we just talked about. It's like the more he does them, there'll be a time where we may love Dave because he's come around and figured out how to talk freely rather than thinking all the time. You never know. I know I go back and look at my own videos, like coaching videos that I did 4 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, that is terrible. I was like, I'm reading off of something, the lighting's terrible. I'm like stuttering or repeating myself or like looking down at what I was writing, you know? And now here I am every single day. I do an hour call for you guys, like off a whim, you know? So you get better. You know, I got better, and so maybe he'll get better too. So maybe in 5 years or so, we'll be like, oh, we love Dave now. He got his shit together. You never know. Let me read this, Nicole. I like what was listening to the dry erase marker. For leaving message. That's a really good idea. I don't know why I never thought of dry erase marker. I'm like scraping my eyeliner across my mirror. That's such a good idea. I saw one of his books the other day. You saw Tony's book at where you at, Nicole? You saw Tony's book? Is that what you said? Or Dave's book?
I saw Dave's book the other day at Walmart.
I saw that he wrote one.
Yep,
I wonder how it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just saw the cover. And he was on, and I'm like, I know Dave. So yeah. So it was out.
You're like, yeah, that's my boy Dave.
Yep.
Alicia, I love that you love him. Sometimes his yelling, talking is too much. He gets passionate. I like watching him. Like, I watched one video of him, like where he like introduces Rachel for Rise. So he's like the MC of Rise usually. He's like the host. And he does so well there too. I think it's just the videos that we're watching right now because they had to make them like that and like out of their home. So like they said in the beginning, you know, it's like this is literally like a low budget production from them, right? Like they probably have their phone on a stand doing these videos. And so they're probably trying to edit them maybe by themselves or with like a small team across the computer or something. And so we have to remember that too, to take them kind of with a grain of salt. So there are plenty of, I have seen videos of him that he was really good. He talked on a stage one time that I saw a video and it was good. So you just never know. Get out of your own way. That's a good, I'm going to look it up. Maybe I can download it on audiobooks. I have like 6 credits on audiobook. I just haven't been downloading books because Elka and I've been reading this one, so I haven't really been listening to anything new. So maybe I'll be able to get that and we can listen to some of it. Get out of your own way. Awesome. This book. Oh, you're already reading it. You like it? Oh, okay. See, now we've got some insight on it. That's kind of cool. Now I'm definitely going to check it out. All right. Talk me into it. Okay, cool. I'll check it out and see if I can find out an audiobook. Maybe we'll start listening to it. All right, ladies. Good day today. I hope you guys have a fantastic Wednesday. Somebody asked me for I am cards. Did somebody message me yesterday and ask for an I am card? Amanda, you did. Did you just want one or did you want everybody? I'll pull yours and send it to you. How about that? I gotta go get them real quick. They're in my bathroom. So I'll message you. And then tomorrow we'll pull I am cards all together. How about that? Cool. All right, ladies, I hope you have a fantastic day. Make good decisions. Have appreciation over expectations. And just remember, you guys, if you're struggling, it's in your head. Change your perspective, change your life. Okay? All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Bye. Bye, little ones.